Hi there, it's David Young, the Resourceful Coach, and what we're going to look at today is your bunker play, and we're going to look at 3 different levels. I mean, what's always interesting for me when I work with people on bunkers and I see other sort of illustrations of how to play bunker shots, it's all about there's only one method of how you can get the ball out of the bunker. But I think what I've learned through golf is that people want different things, okay? And the first thing I'm going to say to golf is, look, level 1 is, can you get the ball out of the bunker? That, for a lot of golfers, is a real problem. So we're going to show you some simple ideas that will help you to guarantee you'll get that ball out of the bunker. And then the next 2 levels is just taking your skill level up, and how I might change my setup slightly, how I might use the club in a slightly different way to help me to get the better results. And you may decide to use those 2 ideas over the original idea. But as I said, if you can't get the ball out of the bunker and you're being encouraged to play it as if you suddenly turn into Luke Donald, the chances are you're still going to struggle out of that bunker. You've got to get the confidence to get the ball out of the bunker first. So we're going to look at a few golden rules, a few things that if you do these things correctly, go with these ideas, it will make a massive difference to how you're going to get success out of the bunker. So let's look at level 1. We'll just basically call this, get the ball out of the bunker. That's your first priority. If you're that golfer that can't do it, watch this first part. And we're going to look at a few things to start with about the shot and how important it is to get the right mindset of how you're going to play it. So if we look at a bunker shot, we've got a ball here sitting in the bunker, we've nicely raked the bunker, and whenever you look at a golf ball, all right, let's just bring this up to the camera. When you sit it on a nice firm surface, like my hand there, majority of the ball will sit on the top of the surface, so it looks quite easy to see it. Let's just bring that down to the level of the camera there. Okay, as soon as it goes into a bunker, it's as if it sort of sits down into my fingers, and to actually pick the ball cleanly off the surface is pretty much impossible. Unless you are an elite player, that's going to be very difficult to do. So because your ball is sitting down into the sand, even when it's a perfect lie like this one, the first thing I want you to understand is you need to take sand. You need to make contact with the sand. If you try to pick this off the surface cleanly, from a well-raked bunker, that's important to understand, it's sitting down, you will have a lot of inconsistencies in your shot, and that's what we want to get rid of. We want to release and get rid of the inconsistencies while you're playing. So what I think about is, I've got my golf ball there, is I think, where do I want to hit the sand then? I want to deliberately hit the sand behind the ball, and I want to keep the club going through the sand towards the intended target. And it's the only shot in golf, if you think about it, that we don't want you to hit the ball. We want you to hit the sand before it. So this is where the club face has less control on where the ball's actually going to go. The path becomes more important. So here are our first 2 things. I want to hit approximately about a ball width behind. Even if I put another ball in the sand there, draw a line at the back of that ball, that's where I want to hit the sand. And the second thing is, the ball is going to be encouraged to go the direction that the sand goes. Okay, so that's your starting point. That's your starting point to what you want to do when you're playing the shot. And that's really important as we're going through this. Now what I want to do is create a setup that's going to allow me to do that. Okay, and I think that's the key bit here. If you make a setup that feels like you can deliver the club the way I want you to through the sand, you're going to start getting this ball out of the bunker. Now, before we go into that setup, another key part is the club itself. Make sure you're using a pitching wedge, make sure you're using a sand iron, or even you can go a little bit more lofted than that to get it out of the bunker. And because of that, the way the club just naturally sits, the way the angle is there, that will help to slide underneath the ball. As we go to level 2 and 3, we may adjust the club, and you may have heard the expression, the bounce of the club. We're going to talk more about that later on. I'm not interested in that at this stage. I just want to get the ball out of the bunker. That's the goal. Okay, so we're going to hold the club in a way that just has it sitting as it naturally would. We're not opening the face, we're not shutting the face, we're not doing anything with that face. It's just its natural position. So when I look at any golf shot where I do that, if I hold the club up, let's come this way around, in front of me there, that leading edge of the golf club, imagine it just pointing straight up at 12 o'clock, neutral grip, everything stays the same there, nothing changes. That golf club now is going to help you out to get the results you want. That's the key thing we're looking for there. Now we need to make a setup with my body that's going to allow me to swing that club through the sand. So we've drawn that line at the back. That's where I want to hit the sand. We've drawn our line here to go towards the intended target, okay? And here's the first thing. You'll be told straight away to have an open stance. I want you to have a parallel stance, okay? I want you to position what you think is where you're going to hit the sand in the center of your stance. That will look like the ball is fractionally forward in your stance. That's okay, that's what we want. But here's the real important bit. I want you to now dig your feet into the sand. And you're looking to dig your feet in about the width of a golf ball, okay, the size of a golf ball. So around about that 1.5 inches into the sand, because remember, we're looking to hit about a ball width behind. So if I've lowered my arc, which is what I've done by digging my feet in, I will automatically now hit the sand behind the ball. That's what that's going to create as I play the shot. So that's the whole idea of it, okay? Now, so we've got everything square on. We're looking to make a swing now that's going to swing through the sand, down my arrow towards the flagstick. As simple as that. Okay? And now the key thing is, and this is, I think, the mental part of bunker shots, is you've got to realise that when you make that swing, because you're not hitting the ball, you're going to lose energy. You're going to lose energy into the sand. But that's fine, because we know that's going to happen. We're taking that idea because we know the ball is sitting down into the sand. So if I dig my feet in, that's lowered the arc, gives me a bit of grip, gives me a feel for how much sand there is. There are 3 reasons. The least important reason you dig your feet in, to be honest, is to get grip. The 2 biggest reasons, feel the sand under your feet and sense then from there how much you've lowered yourself to help you go underneath the ball. So let's see what we can do with those points. Now, all I'm going to think about in my swing is I'm going to make a 3/4 swing. Feel like my hands are reaching about chest high. And then all I'm thinking when I hit the sand, keep the club going through the sand. And out comes the ball. So that's my first job. Now, we've created a little bit of a teaching aid here. By looking at that line there, what I can do is I can look at that and where have I hit it relative to that line. And if I've hit bang on it, look at what the ball did. It's actually come out pretty close to the flag. It was a nice shot. But the main thing is, if I start hitting way back here, the chances are now I'm either going to take too much sand and I'll end up short, or the club now could be on the way up because I've taken so far behind the ball, and now I could catch the ball thin. That could thin it into the face or thin it over the other side of the green. So here's your drill, okay? This is your drill that I want you to do. I'm just going to turn it this way. So I want you to draw 2 lines in the sand. The first line is going to represent the ball, and I want you to make this line a good 2 or 3 feet long. Okay, then you're going to draw another line about the width of a golf ball behind it, and you're just creating the idea that we did. Okay, we're not interested in the ball, we're going to get rid of them. Okay, and this is all about you controlling the club head. You're going to start at the part of the line closest to you, and remember what we said, where we want that line, so where we're going to hit the sand is in the middle of my feet. Dig my feet in. Okay, and all I'm looking to do now is when I make a swing, that 3/4 swing is hit the sand around that right hand line, and then feel like I'm taking out the left hand line. And while you've drawn it 2 or 3 feet long, you just shuffle forward, do it again. Okay, if your body weight falls back, you're back here, you'll see straight away, look how much sand I'm back here. I've come out of the sand before I've even got to my line. I'm going to be on the way up. If I did it that bad, I'm probably actually missed the ball. Okay, but that would probably be a top, and it would go into the face and come back down into the bunker. So walk along the line. If you overdo it and you feel yourself too much on this side, you might come in front of that line. Okay, and you can see how exaggerated. My weight was this way, too far forward. My weight was this way, too far back. And that's going to influence the shot. So I'm keeping it really simple. There are my lines. So dig my feet in. Feel parallel to where I want to go, and we're looking to hit that right hand line. Keep it going through. Even there I've hit probably a little bit behind it. The main thing I'm looking at, the club is still going through the sand through where the ball would be. So that would have probably got me out. That would have been okay. Wouldn't have been a perfect shot, but remember, level 1, get the ball out of the bunker. Okay, that's the important thing. All right, once you've done that a few times, and remember, I know in a game of golf you're not allowed to do this, okay, but we're in here practicing, is physically draw these lines. Okay, you go onto the practice ground with alignment sticks. If you are going to practice this shot, do anything you can to get the idea of what you do. So I would draw the line there behind again, draw the parallel line there. Okay, we'll rate the bunker when we do the next level of play. And then bring myself in. Key thing, dig the feet in, nice and parallel. Club is neutral. I'm going to hit that line. I'm going to keep the club going down the arrow. I'm out of the bunker, here I come. Perfect. Okay, so that's level 1. That's what we're looking to do. What we're going to find with level 2 and level 3 is we're going to start to take your skill level a little bit higher to start to feel that you can control the ball better towards the intended target, which is the flag, and get it close to the hole. So here's level 2, and what we're going to talk a little bit more about is how you can use the golf club to maybe help you get a little bit more control on the ball itself and get a little bit more results that you want. And this, I think, is the biggest thing people talk about when it comes to bunker play, and it's the expression we use is using the bounce of the club. And it's just explaining what the bounce is, okay? So when you look at a sand iron or a club and you let's see if we can bring it down level there, and I put that on the ground, you can see there's a gap. So my finger is sitting there between this back edge and this front edge, okay? And you'll get a certain degree of bounce on the club. And that bounce will help you, if you use it correctly, to help slide underneath the ball. And that's the word I want you to use. I want you to get rid of the word bounce. It's a really bad word. It's one of the words in golf I really don't understand why somebody decided to call it bounce. Because when somebody says to me bounce something, it's like watching a basketball player bounce a ball. It goes doing and up. Now I don't really want my golf club to go like that. I want my club to slide underneath. And the reason I want it to slide underneath is because the more it slides underneath, the more grooves are going to get closer to the ball and will actually create more spin. So if you look at a golf club and it's sitting like that, it will hit the face and rebound off very quickly. You'll get 2 or 3 grooves involved in the shot. As soon as you open it up more and slide that underneath, you're now going to get 6 or 7 grooves gripping the ball. Now I know we've got sand underneath the ball, but think of it a little bit like sandpaper. It's the friction that you're generating that when you watch these guys on TV, they're able to create tremendous backspin when they play the shot, bunker shots. And that's because they've got that sort of grip of the sand, gripping into the grooves, gripping onto the ball, and that's what's giving them the result. Now, if you've gone from stage 1, which is that I've learned to get it out of the bunker, the next thing we're going to do can look a little bit scary, but I want you to remember the first thing we talked about. We talked about how the ball sits down in the sand, and because of that, we are not going to hit the golf ball. Okay? I've got to get you imagining this club is sliding underneath the ball. And it's always one of those interesting things. I'm not a tennis player, but I think of somebody slicing a tennis shot with a tennis racket. Does a tennis player get worried that as they slice it, they're going to hit it with the edge of the racket and it's going to shoot off at all angles? I would probably say not. They're just imagining the strings going through and gripping the ball and getting the backspin that they want. And that's what I want you to imagine with your club. What we're going to do now, we talked about in level 1 having a square club face. We're now going to what we call dial the club open, okay? And we called that 12 o'clock in that position. As I look at it as the golfer, I'm going to now turn the club closer to what I would say the leading edge is now going at 1 o'clock. That's me looking at it. At the camera, it looked like 11 o'clock. And this is the important thing. You dial it to that position, and then now you take your grip. Okay, when you put that down in front of you, it will now look as if the club face is pointing to the right. As I set up to that flag, it will now look like the club face is pointing over there. But remember rule number 1, you are not hitting the golf ball. If you hit the golf ball with that leading edge, the ball will go over there. What you're going to find is if you can slide that club underneath, more of those grooves are going to grip the ball or get closer to it and get that sand closer to it. So you're physically reducing the amount of sand between the club face and the ball, but you've still got some. You're not going to hit the ball. You will get a better result. Okay, so that's all you're changing initially. Okay, so we're calling that the dialing the club to 1 o'clock. You're dialing it open, and now what I want you to think about is think of that club sliding underneath. So let's keep our second rule. What did we say we wanted to do? Well, we wanted to hit approximately a golf ball behind. We're not changing that idea. Okay, I'm not changing the idea of where that ball position is relative to my feet. I'm not going to change the idea that where I'm going is there and my feet are going to run parallel to where I want to go. because the ball is going to go where the sand goes. And if I'm not hitting the ball here, the ball isn't going to go to the right. The open face is just going to slide underneath and give me more grip with the grooves. That's what I've changed. So I've dialed it open to 1 o'clock. I bring myself in. There's my line there. Again, draw your lines, dig your feet in, parallel. And all I'm doing now is I just want to feel through the swing, a nice 3/4 swing again, and just slide the club through the sand. And I could hear that as well. When it came out, slid right underneath, and look at the amount of sand I've taken. I've gone from taking, probably with that natural neutral position in level 1, to now letting the club dial open and slide underneath. I've taken probably about 2/3 of the amount of sand. So I'm getting a little bit closer to the ball. And by getting closer to the ball, I'm now able to generate a little bit more backspin. So I don't know if the camera picked up the shot so far, but that's ended up about a foot away. I've played it out nicely, it's landed on the green, and it's run out to that position. And I'm going to say this now, I probably use level 2 for 95% of my bunker shots as a professional golfer. That is my bunker shot. Okay, if I've got a standard shot, nothing really in my way, playing up to there, all I will do is think, yep, hit a ball width behind, get that in the middle of my stance, dig my feet in nice and parallel, dial the club open, 3/4 swing, commit. And you can hear that come out of the sand. And that one, I've got even closer to the ball. I didn't hit it, but you know that sound when you get it right. It's that lovely through the sand. When you get it right, it's amazing. The feeling when you get it right, it's like, wow, that's how I want to hit a golf shot. So that should excite you. I've just hit 2 of the best bunker shots I've probably hit all year. Okay, so if I'm honest, I don't really care about the video now. I just want to hit bunker shots because I'm having a great time out here, but I'm going to hit some more for you. Do the same thing. I'm not changing anything. Dial it open. There. Keep the club going through. Now that one I got a little bit clean, but because I was close, so I'd have said there, if I look at my line, I've not really taken any of the line. I've probably got halfway between that line and the ball, but the ball still came out. It's still, because I've slid the club underneath, I haven't thinned it, I've just got a little bit too close to the ball, and it's ended up going a little bit further, but I'm still within 12, 15 feet of the green. But it felt good. I mean, even though that was not quite what I wanted, it wasn't as good as the one before, it felt good. Again, draw your lines. Get in there. That's the key line I work on. And again, just have the fun with it. 3/4 swing. Go through the sand. Slide it underneath. Okay? Happy with all those 4 shots. So we've kept to those same fundamentals from level 1. All we've really changed is understanding how you can now use the golf club to work for you. So what we're going to look at now is level 3, and that's creating different scenarios of how you then use your technique to get the result. Okay, and this is taking you really, what I would say, if you want to be a professional golfer out of a bunker, this is what you're looking at. This is really getting the feel of what you're doing as you're playing through the shot. But level 1 is where you start. Level 2, as I said, 95% of my bunker shots are played level 2. It's only when I'm trying to do something a little bit different, because of the lie, we're going to go to level 3. So stage 3 is what I call the fun stage, and I want you to really think of it as the experimental stage. This is the different types of shots that you'll get in the bunker. And I'm just going to go through 2 main ones that you'll probably come across, and a third one that we haven't got a bunker here that's really going to allow us to show it fully, but again, one you might get, but actually isn't that hard to play. So just understanding how to play those shots. Now, the first one, we're just going to carry on the idea of what we did in stage 2. We talked about going from a square face to a bit more of a dialed open face. And I never really dial the club open any more than that 1 o'clock position. I think that's really important to understand as you're playing the shot. You don't want to go any more than that. Okay? But what you can start to do now, if you want to get more spin on the ball, remember this is an experimental stage. Now when you do an experiment, it never fails because you're working out if it does work. And if this works for you, please do it. It's great fun. So what I'm going to do now, and this is where you'll see a lot of the bunker play they talk about, is to now have a slightly more open stance. And all that's going to do is get you sliding more across the ball and give you the chance to generate more spin. So if you've mastered level 2, have a bit of fun with level 3. That's what I want you to do. So all I'm going to do now, I still know with what I'm doing is if I'm swinging towards the target, that's going to give me the best result. But in any shot, it's like watching a tennis player. If he slices across it, what's going to happen is he's going to generate more spin. And that's what we're going to do here. And I'm not going to be ridiculous with how much I open my stance. Okay, I'm going to open my stance approximately 10 degrees relative to where I'm going. So if there's where I want to go, I'm now only going to have a stance there. I'm not standing like this. I see people playing bunker shots like this. All my energy now is going over there. I don't want that. I still want my energy to go towards the flag because that's where I want to go. I've dialed my club open to 1 o'clock. I'm still imagining I want to hit the sand there. So relative to my feet, I'm still hitting that position. Now, anybody watching this now, relative to where I'm going, that looks like the ball's right off my front foot. But it's a bit of an illusion because actually, relative to where my feet are aiming, that ball is only that inch or so forward of centre. Okay? I dig my feet in and I'm having a little bit of a play with this. I'm feeling like I'm going to swing left. I really feel, and remember, open that club up, then take your grip. Don't try and do stuff with your wrist during the shot. And now just have a load of fun. There, and I'm going to slice across it. It comes out, and that golf ball stopped within 2 feet. Now, what's interesting to see here, this is perfect for what we talked about earlier. Where does the ball go? The ball goes where the sand goes. Look at what I've done there. I've opened that stance up. My club has gone that way through the ball, and that's exactly the line my golf ball has ended up on. So that really does cement the idea in. The very first thing we talked about is the ball is going to go where the sand goes. So what would I do if I learned that? Well, my instinct would be, don't open your stance so much. Don't swing as much to the left, but just feel that club slide through the sand. Okay, really important, and that's why it's an experiment. Okay, what you're doing is you're playing around with the ideas. Okay, let's just move that a bit further forward so I don't hit the camera. So now let's do the same thing. So I'm going to learn from that. I'm going to bring myself back to the target, but I'm going to still feel that slide across it. Okay, now let's see the mark I've made in the sand this time. That ball's ended up about 3 feet left, and that's exactly where my mark's gone. So see how important the path is. Do not open your stance ridiculous amounts, because when you do, you're going to start swinging way left. And even though I played that first shot really nicely, I got much more backspin on it. I've ended up probably 15 feet from the hole. I've brought my body round. Didn't get as much back. I mean, still stopped probably within 6 feet, but I'm now within 6 feet of the hole. Experiment. Level 3 is an experiment. Okay, now let's just give the bunker a quick rake. And we're going to do an exercise now that is a shot you may get. This time of year in the UK, we're having a lot of rain at the moment. The bunkers might be a little bit firm, but we're going to take it that they're nicely raked. Our greenkeepers come out and rake our bunkers every day. And all of a sudden now you get a plug lie. And it's great fun to practice these as well. And the drill we're going to show you now, okay, is the drill that if you are struggling with level 1, do this shot. If you keep hitting the ball clean and you're not taking any sand, plug your balls. Okay, if you plug your balls in the sand, it will make you go into the sand. Okay, now I can't slide the club underneath now, so what do I change? We're only going back to one thing. We're just changing the club face. So all I'm going to do now is either go back to a square club face, or in this occasion you could even close it. Why do we close it? Because we want to dig into the sand. We want to get down into the bottom of that ball. Let's just play a shot. I want to get down to hit the sand to get it to come out of the bunker. Okay, so if I move the club from neutral and I actually do that, that digging edge is going to dig into the sand. So you can close the face. If you've got really fluffy sand and you know the club's going to go through the sand, you can play it a little bit more conventional. Okay, but let's just stand on that again. Now, I don't know, because you were listening to me do the shot, you didn't pay much attention to what happened to that ball. But now I've got no control on the ball. This ball is going to run. So if we were actually in the bunker over the other side of the green and we've got probably a good 60 feet of green to play with, and you get a plug lie, it's not that hard a shot, because all you got to do is hit the sand, get it out of the bunker, and because there's no backspin on the ball, it will just run across the green. This shot is much tougher because I've got less green to work with. Okay, but let's go through what we're going to do. You're going to get bored of this, and I get a lot of people look at my videos and say, why do you keep repeating it? Because if I keep repeating it, it'll get drummed into your minds over and over again, and you will do it. If you change your mind after each shot, you're going to have different shots every time. But what do I want to do? I want to hit a ball width behind. I'm going back to the normal stance because I want to go straight. Okay. I'm now going to dig my feet in. I'm going parallel. And all I've changed is I've gone back to that. I've actually closed the face a little bit. If I hit that point behind, the club now is going to dig down into the sand. I can put a little bit more weight on my left side to make myself dig down into the sand. But you're still thinking 3/4 swing. You're still thinking finish. But what will happen is you're not forcing the finish. You're not sort of trying to force it through here. Because you're going to hit more sand, your follow through will look shorter. That's just going to happen. Don't worry about it. If you're putting the same energy in, it will stop. So there, hit the sand. You can see my follow through only come through to waist high. Not because I've deliberately stopped it at waist high. It's because I've hit more sand and it stops it. If I don't hit anything with that swing, look where my swing ends up. So it's just basically physics. As that club comes down and hits something, it's going to slow up. Something in motion will stay in motion unless something stops it from doing it. So the plug lie is actually a fun shot. I quite like it. And people, when I've done bunker lessons and I come in and do that, they go, wow, that's a bit harsh. No, it's not. Learn how to play it. That ball came out lovely. That's ended up probably about 4 feet from the hole. So close the face slightly. There's my line, middle of my stance. Dig my feet in. Look, it's consistent. I'm not changing it. Even though we're giving you 3 levels, we're staying so consistent. There, hit down, out it comes. That one's going to run a little bit past the flag. But the most important thing is the balls are all going where the sand goes. The second thing is I'm committing to the shot. And that's why it's so important to go and find a practice bunker to do this, so you can drill the ideas in to get the feeling of what we're doing. Okay, we'll do one last shot. We're just going to change the camera angle so you can see that. And it's the shot most people sort of get a little bit scared of. But actually, it's in your favour if you can get it right. So here's our third shot, and it's that ball up the face of the bunker. As I said, my bunkers, unfortunately, here, not really steep faces, but you'll get the idea. And really go and experiment with this shot, okay? Because this one can be a lot of fun. And why the tour player quite likes this shot is because his ball's on a little bit of an upslope. And he knows that if he's on that upslope, it's going to encourage the ball to go up. He doesn't want the ball at the back of the bunker when it's on a downslope. Especially if he's got a big face of the bunker, that means it's going to go down because he's on a downslope and he's got to get it up over a face. This one's not so bad because now what we can do is we can tilt our body with the slope. And again, I'm working on the same theories of what I do is there's the point in the middle of my stance, tilt my body with the slope from there. So it feels now the ball is slightly forward in my stance, but I want to swing with the slope. And this one takes a little bit of time to get your bearings, because if you tilt back too far, you might start hitting the sand way back here. And again, we get the same results of what we saw earlier, where what might happen is you hit the sand there, you take too much sand, it doesn't come out, or you miss all, you hit that sand, you're on the way up, you hit the ball, hits the face and comes back down. So it's so important that you don't suddenly say there's only one way to do it. You experiment a little bit, see what works for you. You may find yourself going a bit more up the slope and tilting, and that works for you. But as I said, if you get your angles with the slope, that's going to make it easier to get the result. Ideally, I want the sternum, sort of middle of my chest, on that point of where I'm going to hit the sand. That's what I'm looking to do. Now, commit to the shot. Because what I get a lot of golfers do with this, they panic because they're going to make a bit more of a swing to make, because this is going to go really high. They then panic and quit at the ball. Okay, so we're showing you the key thing of how to play it correctly. Now commit to it, and now the ball comes out of the bunker. You get a result. Now, we've gone from the other bunker, so I'm not showing you exactly where the ball went, but that's not important. Get the ball out of the bunker. This is a little bit like going back to level 1 mentally, but with a level 3 tough shot. Okay, now This was my failure. I'm going to show you a fault I see all the time. I know we want to show you what to do, how to do it correctly, but the biggest fault. And because you chip the ball, you're encouraged to put more weight on your front foot. And I used to do this, and you'd end up leaning there, leaning into the slope. Well, what are you going to do? You're going to hit the sand, and because the sand is sitting like that, you hit it there, you're just going to go deeper and deeper into sand. All your energy is going to be lost. So what I would end up doing is I'd get there, I'd hit the sand, and it would come out literally just out of the bunker, or it'd roll back in the bunker. So it's so important that when you're playing these shots, that you get the sand and your angles of your body going together. So in time, you'll take the same amount of sand you took on a normal bunker shot, because your angle's at the same angle as the slope. Play around with it, draw the lines. That's the real big thing. Ball is only going to go where the sand goes. There we go, that was nice. And that's come out from that bank. Again, it's going to, the flag's 60, 70 feet the other side. That's going to be nearly impossible to get there. But if the lie was like this, okay, what's happening to my sand wedge? It's becoming more lofted than I've ever seen. And this was a thing I learnt from Sevi. Let's get rid of that club. He was doing this on the face of a bunker when he was chipping. But I tried it out of a bunker and it works. So if I've tilted my body and I have my sand iron at 56 degrees or 60 degrees and I've now added 10 degrees because of the slope, it's become like a 70-degree golf club. It's going to be very, very difficult to get the result I want. I've gone to an 8 iron, okay? That ball came out lovely, the one before. I'm still 45 feet away from the hole. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to dial it open slightly. I'm going to get my angles with the slope, but because I haven't got as much loft as I go through, I've slightly mishit that, and I'm 15 feet closer than the one before. All right, that wasn't a good shot. So let's see if we can get it right, okay? There, I think there was part of my brain thinking this is going to go way too far, and I did what I see a lot of golfers slightly quit on it. Let's commit to this one. All right, that's lovely. That's pitched over the other one. I'd still say 20 feet short of the flag, but I'm 20 feet away rather than 50 feet away. So adapt yourself. It's the experimental stage. Level 3, experiment, plug lies. Try and spin it more. Look at it and think to yourself, okay, can I play off the up face? Downhill lie. I've done a video before which shows you 6 different positions in a bunker. Please go and watch it because it will show you those ideas. But there's our 3 levels of play, okay? But let's just do a quick recap on what we did. Level 1. Level 1 is all about getting a basic technique. Understand the ball is going to sit slightly down in the sand, so you need to take sand. I look to hit about a ball width behind, that 1.5 inches or so behind the ball. So that's the first thing I'm looking at. Number 2, the ball is going to go where the sand goes. So draw an arrow where you want to go. Get your feet parallel. Now, get that point of entry in the center of your stance and dig those feet in parallel to where you want to go. Dig them in about 1.5 inches. That's going to allow you to hit that 1.5 inches behind the ball. It'll give you a little bit of grip. It'll give you a little bit of feel of the sand. Now we're showing you the basic bunker shot. I will get people asked, well, what do I do when the sand's really compact? We're not talking about this. This is about getting a basic level of play. We will look at that another time. I probably did go through that in the 6 different bunker shots. Please go and watch that video. This is about getting a set standard way of getting the ball out of the bunker. Keep that club face neutral. Let's go back to the sand iron. Keep that club face neutral at level 1. Now, all we did level 2, we didn't change really anything except we dialed the club open to 1 o'clock and then we took our grip. That's really important. Don't take your grip and then twist your wrists. Turn the club, take your grip looks neutral, the club face now looks at 1 o'clock. And that's going to give us that sandpaper idea. That's going to give us the feeling the club is going to slide underneath. Get rid of that word bounce. Don't imagine a bounce. Imagine the club sliding. Like the guy playing the backhand slice in tennis. The racket goes through. You're keeping your club going through. If you do that, you're going to have success. And that's all you're changing level 2. We're still hitting the sand in the same place. But because of the way the club's designed, it will take less sand. You will get a little bit more control on the ball. But the ball will go where the sand goes. We showed you that on the video. When I opened my stance a lot, what happened to the ball? It went left. Because the club swung along that line, I didn't hit the ball So it isn't going to spin, as everybody thinks, dramatically that way. 5 to 10 degrees at the most. Do not open your body by 45 degrees. And then stage 3, have some fun. Plug a few lies. See if you can get more spin on it. Play some up the face of the bunker. Play a plug lie up the face of the bunker. See how that works. They're all shots that you're going to come across. It's a shot in general. Golfers don't enjoy playing the bunker shot, but if you can make it a good part of your game, it's amazing how this will help your short game. Especially if you want to play high lob shots, if you can start to play good level 2 bunker shots, I'll guarantee it'll improve your lob shots around the green as well. You'll start to feel the club better. So I hope you've enjoyed that video. It's a little bit more in-depth way of looking at these 3 levels of green bunker play. Okay, start at level 1, move to level 2, then have some fun in level 3. If you have enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel, share this with your friends, and I look forward to seeing you soon.